What's good, y'all? It's your boy P Dub, man, and I'm back. 2 weeks post-op from my patellar tendon surgery. It's officially been 2 weeks since I went under the knife and got my injury repaired. It's been a crazy, crazy uphill battle. From being a super athlete, playing college ball, lifting heavy things at will with no problem, to using crutches and being handicapped and needing help. It's been very frustrating, and I've been just, you know, it's crazy how it's more mentally taxing than physically. Like, although physically I can't do much because it's only been 2 weeks, the mental toll has been crazy. It's been really heavy on me. But I've been staying positive. I've been staying prayed up. I got a lot of positivity in my life. I have a very supportive family that's really been helping me through everything. I have some very supportive friends as well, and they've been really, really, keeping me afloat because this is not easy, man. Mentally, it's not easy. The physical part is one thing, but to go through this mentally, man, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, you know. But luckily, I'm like I said, I'm staying positive. I start physical therapy officially next week. I had my first physical therapy meeting with my doctor this past week, and basically, she was just making sure I knew how to, you know, weight support on the crutches, how to use them, make sure it was adjusted to the right height, because a lot of people don't even use the crutch properly. That's one thing she was saying. A lot of people use crutches either too low or too high. You got to find that sweet spot to where you can always be comfortable using these crutches. Um, and then she made sure that my brace was locked in place, so I wasn't able to, overextend my knee, re-injure myself. So just little things like that. We didn't do much at all, but I'm pretty much excited for this next meeting with her because I know I'm going to be able to do a little bit more than I did last time. And I'm all about progress. I'm ready to get back to the weight room. I have, bodybuilding show competitions later on this year, after I recover, of course. But the goal is to still be on track to make these shows. That's always been a goal of mine. And the sad part is, it's always injury stopping me from getting on that stage for the first time. I've been ready to make my debut, um, but now I got this, so I have to take care of this first before I get on that stage, which I will. I know I will. It's nothing to a giant. You got to know how to take these things. I've been through a lot. A lot of y'all don't even know I've been shot before. I've had ankle issues my whole life, ankle pain, sprains. Man, I've been through the whole nine. So now that I'm going through this, I know it's something that I'm gonna have to tackle, and I'm up for it. I'm not running from it. Um, One thing that I do notice that I have to do is I can't be as social as I used to be. I'm used to showing support to a lot of friends on birthdays and going out, enjoying the night, little things that I used to do before this injury, and I can't do that no more. And I kind of feel guilty because, I went out a few times. I went out because I mentally needed to. I already work from home, so being in the house all day it helps. It doesn't help my mental. I have to get out. So I had a very close friend's birthday last week. I was a week and a half post op, and I showed up. With my brace on. I didn't do too much, but I just wanted to show my support to my friend because they supported me, and they've been very supportive through this whole thing. So I at least wanted to show my face. But I told myself after that, I'm cutting it out. I'm not going out no more. I'm staying inside. Work, just go to my doctor's appointments. And gym. I went to the gym for the first time yesterday. Just did upper body, of course. I didn't do no lower body. Very protective. Had my brace on. Um, yeah. So I'm glad I didn't lose my strength because I've been gaining weight. Since I got injured in November 14th. My surgery was December 18th. So for that whole month that I was injured, I wasn't working out at all. I was very like, let me just sit down and wait. So I was gaining weight. I gained weight. I'm pushing 300 pounds now. And I'm normally around 270, 265 before I start, my cut for cardio cutting, of course. But now I'm pushing like 300 now, which is like, I've never been this heavy in my life, but I know it's for a good cause. The weight's gonna come off. I went to school for this, so I'm an exercise science graduate. I know how to burn fat and lose weight. That's not hard. I just have to be able to lose it physically first, and that's the goal. Is to get back moving, get my motion back, get my range of motion back, and after that, cutting this weight off won't be hard for my show. So I'm just staying on track, making sure I'm doing everything right, making sure I'm not putting too much weight on my knee. That's one thing I am guilty of. I was, walking without my crutch 1 week post op. And I'm just being honest. I'm being transparent because I don't want people to make the same mistakes when you go through a patellar tendon surgery. You definitely don't want to be you walking without your crutch 1 week after surgery. I have this big, strong bravado that I can do it. I'm strong, and it didn't hurt. But now that I'm coming to my senses, I need to use my crutches a lot more. Just to protect it, make sure I don't re-injure it and have to do another surgery. Luckily, I don't. Luckily, it's still healed. Everything feels great. It's still a little swollen. I still have my stitches in. My first post-op appointment with my surgeon that actually did the surgery is this coming Tuesday. And I'm pretty sure that's when he's going to take the stitches out and then give me another protocol. So when I see him, I'm going to ask him exactly what I'm able to do, my weight restrictions as far as, weight bearing, crutch, 1 crutch, 2 crutch, all the questions that I have, because after the surgery, my surgeon, he's so good. He was so busy. He couldn't even wait for me to wake up for me to, talk to him. He had to go to his next surgery. And they told me that before the surgery, like, hey, he has a whole schedule lined up. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask everything at that first post-op appointment, which I am. So I'm very excited for that because I want to be able to talk to him, look at him face to face, and ask him exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because I kind of been winging it. And luckily, I'm strong. Everybody's not built strong. Everybody is not, weight training their whole life to where all the other muscles are engaged that they could compensate like I've been. So I've been blessed to be able to even do that and not re-injure myself. But I'm shutting all that down. I'm using my crutches. I'm taking precautions. I'm being safe. You only get 2 legs. Right now I got one. So I don't want to, mess up this one and make it worse, and I have to strain this one. Now I just want to keep everything safe and do everything smart. One thing I did learn through this whole process is being patient. I'm not the most patient person. I always want to get up and go wherever, go here, go there. And like, this is just showing me that, hey, you need to slow down. RIP Dub, slow it down. You'll be okay. I'm still young. I'm only 33. I have a whole life ahead of me, so if I take care of this properly, I'll be fine. So that's my focus, is doing this the right way. I don't want to shortcut my recovery. I'm not in a rush. I have nothing to prove. I've done a lot of successful things in my life. So now that I get to like slow it down and just reevaluate and figure out what I want to do next, it's kind of a blessing, because a lot of people don't get that time to sit down and figure things out, and I am. That's what I'm doing right now. I can figure out what I want to do next year, go to school, new job, move, all these things that I didn't really have a chance to do when I was just out and about and active, because I'm just focused on life. But now it's like I can slow down and focus and figure things out, the right way, the proper way. So yeah, no more going out. Definitely not going out. I just have to figure out another way to get some mental clarity outside of the house, because like I said earlier, I work from home. I work 8 hours at the crib. I wake up, brush my teeth, clock in right here, literally. So that'll be exciting. I get to figure out some things, maybe go to a park, do a little stretches and walks, and just clear my head, something else. I also have the gym. My gym is 24 hours, so I do love going to the gym late at night. Um, and as long as I have my crutch and my brace, and I can just do upper body, seated exercises where I'm not standing up, nothing weight bearing, nothing balanced, just regular machine work, just to keep my blood flowing, keep my energy going. I don't want to lose my strength at all, because once I get healed 100%, I'm hopping right into bodybuilding prep. I'm not waiting. I'm not taking another year off. I'm getting on stage and making my debut this year. All right. So that's a promise I'm keeping to myself. And I want y'all to hold me accountable. I really do. This is something new to me. I've been preparing to bodybuild for the last 2 years. And every year that I was deciding to go on stage, I had an injury in my ankle. Like the first 2 times I had an ankle injury, sprained my ankle. And I always had bad ankle injuries from playing college basketball. So lifting heavy weights, squatting, put a lot of strain on my ankles. One day I just woke up and it was swollen and in pain. So you can't do any leg workouts besides maybe leg extensions. But I like to squat, I like to deadlift, I like to do the heavy grounded leg workouts. And I wasn't able to do that, so I took a break. Now it's my knee, so I can't squat at all. I can't do no leg extensions, which is funny because I was complaining about only being able to do leg extensions when my ankle hurt. Now I can't do either one. I can't do leg extensions or squats. So it's funny how life works, and that's just God talking to me like, hey, take the time to really take care of this and do it the right way. Patellar tendon rupture is nothing to play with. It's nothing to play with. I've been doing my research and seeing a lot of these videos and people recovering. It takes time, 6 months. I've seen someone as early as 10 weeks. He was back running, like doing like a little marathon. And I've seen people say it took them 2 years to really feel back to 100%. So everybody's different. But I'm going on the hunch that, I'm naturally strong and I'm built my strength up over the years. So I don't think it'll take me longer than 6 months to be 100%. But hey, you never know. So we're just going to play it safe. I'm going to listen to my doctor, follow all the protocols, and just do it the right way. So I'm very excited for that. So it's been 2 weeks post-op, going on 3 weeks. This next week, like I said, I have my first post-op appointment with my surgeon. So I'm going to go through all the protocols with him. I'll make sure to make a video about that just in case a lot of y'all going to be wondering what I have to do or what he's recommending me to do. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to list it all. Be very transparent this whole journey, because like I said, I want to be able to help somebody else who might go through this. You're not alone. A lot of people, tear their patellar tendon. It's not uncommon, from athletes to the average worker, to the average athlete, to the average whatever person, male, female. It happens, and why does it happen? Hey, it could be because it was weak and you didn't strengthen it. It could be because you put too much weight on it. It could be because you stepped a certain way and put too much force that way. It's a lot of moving factors on how it tears, and everybody's different. Genetics can play a part in that too. So I'm learning a lot through this whole process. It's a big learning journey. Um, and I'm very excited just to keep learning and learning my body, learning